All right. Love this chapter.
Yeah.
Lots going on here again.
Yeah, Abraham introduced.
For me, it's verse 5 is fascinating. Obviously, this idea that it says, then the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the men had built. Now, I know you said earlier that the Father himself, he couldn't have gone to the ark to do it, like to close it in, right? Because his sheer power would destroy everything in its wake, essentially. I have a differing opinion. This is maybe where you and I disagree, Sean,
It's
which
okay.
is fine. You and I are going to have some disagreements in our theology, which is fine. But I see this as one of a select handful of times that the Father actually he himself interacts with humanity, and
Okay.
I see this one as that. And I understand that this could be looked at as agency here in this um, chapter here in Genesis. But if we go to Jubilees, it actually says that the angels went with the Lord. We went down with him, and so to me that implies that he, in whatever fashion that looks like, went down in some capacity. And so it to me that's interesting, right? Because what a bold statement that would be if true, for him to go down himself with his henchmen, because essentially these mortals have gathered themselves as one, under one tongue, one authority, one kingdom led by Nimrod, right? And their purpose was to build something so that they can get up to where he is, so they can establish their own authority, their own system of things without him, in the picture. And so I just see this as, okay, this is what you want to do. And apparently, I don't know how much literal aspect of this that we can take, but what they were trying to accomplish could be possible, which is weird to me, especially knowing the cosmology and the immense task that would be to actually achieve that. I don't actually think it is possible, but according to Yahweh here, he says what they're trying to do is possible. So what better of a
Yeah.
way to make a statement than to go down himself and be like, hello guys, you're not coming here. In fact, I'm going to spread you out. And so I don't know, like that's how I look at that, especially since we know that the Father and the Son are coming down in days ahead too. They're gonna dwell on the earth in a capacity where mortals are gonna live on the same plane as them as well. So I see that as a possibility here, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, those are good thoughts. Yeah, it's something to consider when you think about the ancient world having the ability to have their own flying machines. That is well documented, and I've reviewed that in my Investigating Babylon series. And then you also consider Jubilees declares, with the measurements given, the height of the ark, or the height of the tower, approximately 1.5 miles tall, which is not truly very tall in the scope of the height of the firmament, or what it's. No one knows the height of a firmament except the Father, and maybe the angels, but no mortal man knows the height of the firmament. And we see that there are mountains that are taller than 1.5 miles tall, right? So the idea is, if Jubilees is correct with its measurements, they didn't really get very far. But at the same time, I agree with you. It seems as if the Father took seriously their endeavor.
Yeah.
To the point where it moved him to action, to stop them. So could they have gotten further? Very possibly. Could they have gotten through the firmament and ascended to different levels? I don't know. Especially, it makes me wonder, if they had machines that could fly, why wouldn't they just use those? But then I think to myself, well, that there's finite concepts there, and they may need to refuel. They may not. It could be a physical, like chemical and physics reason why they had to build an actual tower. It's considering they already had the ability for air flight with ships, with machines. So there could be a physical reason they had to build this tower. I don't know. It's interesting, but I agree with you. Yeah, he definitely got involved. Did he come down? I don't know, but it's a good thought to consider.
Yeah, it's
It
fascinating stuff
definitely
for
is.
sure. Yeah. So
Let me see here.
this is the Table Nations, right? This is where we get
Mhm.
the starting, I guess you would say, of different mixed languages and people groups scattered across the earth and taking up their portions of the earth.
Well, this is following Shem's line to get to Abraham, and Genesis 10 gave us the scattering of the peoples. what I always try to remind people is that Genesis 11 is kind of like on a chronological way. It's placed inside of the genealogy of Genesis 10.
Yeah,
Some of the
exactly.
people talked about in Genesis 10 were born before and after, in my understanding, before and after the Tower of Babel event.
Okay.
So,
I
there's
agree. That's exactly how you're supposed to read it. I mean, it's
yeah,
yeah,
it's kind of like Genesis 10 just goes through a long list of people, and then it kind of backs up and focuses on this little moment about the Tower of Babel, being built. But
yeah,
it's interesting. The many tribes of the earth, they do come together to build the city and the Tower of Babylon and land of Shinar. And I love what Jubilees talks about, how it's like one purpose will not abide to them until the day of judgment. This is what the account in Jubilees, the father, says about this moment here. It also says the Almighty responds, deciding to destroy the tower and disperse the people once again. And Abraham is introduced, and his family tree descending from Shem is recorded.